And I accidentally quit, but there we are. Brought it back up. Welcome back, thanks, Paul. I like going full risk and try and wear almost everything. Good way to learn and to experience what can happen when doing this. Yeah, and actually I should almost be doing that even just to see all the new additions to this one, because yeah, I'd never seen the Rampage Ego until just that run there. It's another new one to this version, but let's hop into it here. Start thinking about what we want to do. So yeah, now that we're through our introductory run where we were just kind of going over the basics on camera here for the first time, let's move on up to one of maybe my more usual combos. So for a spellcaster, there are definitely some species that work a lot better than others just for the aptitudes and that kind of thing, but I'm also a big fan of flavor picks and just kind of going for what I feel like. So it's probably a Gargoyle Earth Elementalist is usually pretty strong. Pretty powerful. I like Demon Spawn a lot because they're fun. They get random mutations as you go, so there's always a bit of RNG and some randomness thrown in, plus some of the mutations are pretty powerful as well. And then who else? Right now one of my really good runs is a Naga of Che, but that's a very scary one that I wouldn't want to play on camera because I get into near-death experiences almost constantly. It's a nightmare. But okay, you know what? Let's go with the classic. This is another really good beginner combo, actually. Gargoyle Earth Elementalist. Yeah, again, usually you won't be starting on spellcasters right away for most people. Or most people, I should say, have a bit more trouble with the spellcasters in this game, but depending on your experience level and personal preference, that could definitely change a little bit. Because, yeah, I know for me on my side of things, I definitely feel like I really enjoy spellcasters. But okay, so we quickly went through all of our skills like we did last time. We'll also make sure to go through our unidentified items here, grab whichever ones we want. Usually still these throwing ones just in case. Need a backup and all that good stuff. Perfect. And then, so now as a spellcaster, we start out with Sandblast, in which we use up a rock in order to blast an enemy with particles. And then we also have our spell book with a couple options that we'll be trying to work our way up to right away as we make our way through the dungeon. We unfortunately start off without a weapon, so we will probably want to be trying to pick one of those up as quickly as possible here. Wanted to close the distance with the dart slug while they're asleep. I know normally I was saying you should let enemies come to you, but that would play it a bit safer. And then the last thing I actually will do, forgot to do on the immediate entry here, is I'm in a new version of this game, which means all of my macro hotkeys are gone, but it's a good opportunity to talk about them. So if we hit Control D, we can open up this choice of options here, and then M goes to the macro settings. And here we are able to add and delete extra macros, the little keys that will execute a series of commands based on what we want. So to add, we just select the key. So I'm going to hit the 1 key, and we are going to current action, is none. So we will redefine that, and we're going to make that a capital Z for cast no matter what's around us, and then A for the first spell in our book. And then, you know what, I won't even do F actually. I'll just do ZA for this. But that way, now when we press the 1 key, it's automatically going through the steps of opening our spell book, selecting A, and getting this target with just 1 key. So that's always super handy for new people as well. Tutorials recommend to turn off auto skill. That's what I do now as well, and later turn on some skills again, still experiment. And yeah, definitely turn off auto skill. I forgot to do it at the start of that first run, but manual skills allow you to just have a little bit more control over your options and get those relevant skills online exactly when they need to be. Especially, yeah, if you're a spellcaster trying to get like those 3rd level spells in time for before the really dangerous stuff, it's important. All right, so making it through here. Gargoyles, yeah, are pretty relatively easy species. Fortunately, yeah, you're made of stones, you have extra armor class, resistant poison, all really good resistance stuff, and only slightly lower health than most other species or than the average. And then yeah, pulse is nice. I never use the macros. I need to check that out. Yeah, it's super handy, especially just as casters. Like, it's a bit better now. Like, it's, for me, it's a bit of an artifact from before you could quiver your spells, because I'm used to, like, you need a macro on your magic dart as a conjurer. Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself crazy how many times you have to press that. So now that they're quivered, there's maybe a bit less of a strict need for it, but jeez, don't like the setup we've started with here. Yes, unarmed. Okay, do you know what? Maybe I'll put on the spear. Maybe happy game. Okay, hit level 2. I'm scared as to whether or not there is an opening here, because I don't want to fight all of you right now. That doesn't seem fair. Okay, there's no opening there. We're good, we're good. Very scary room. You know, like that chamber. 11 monsters, what a beginning. Yeah, no, I do think we don't have access to them. I'm guessing this is like a hidden hatch entrance exit room, maybe? Or it's just a display vault. Oh no, it's just a vault that's meant to scare the wits out of you. Well, it worked on me, so hats off to whichever the developers made that little gem. Okay, I'm playing kind of stupid here. Definitely rushing in, which, especially when we're playing as a spellcaster, is something that I should be shying away from a little bit. So in order to use our level 1 spell as an Earth Elementalist, we do need stones. So unfortunately, at the start of the game here, we don't want to burn up all of those right away and then be messed up when we're against like a really strong unique or something named unique, or almost dying to a hobgoblin with a club, you know, one or the other. All those scariest dungeon 1 threats. Okay, yeah. No, yeah, Paul, I don't know how many of the different entrance vaults you've seen, but there are a few that scare me like that, because there are a bunch that have really strong level monsters, or like abyss, a bunch of abyss monsters behind glass boxes. It's no good, especially beginner players, I'm sure, just don't know how to handle that. But fortunately, by this point, I trust the developers to a certain extent, where they're not going to throw that on me. I don't think that's winnable with almost any combination. A troll berserker could probably get through that room, but it would be scary still. All right, starting to go a little smoother now. Got more rocks, that's good. And even more rocks available right there. Perfect. So now we can probably start using our sandblast pretty frequently here without having to worry too much about ammo, which is always good early on here, because I've definitely had a couple of Earth Elementalist runs that ran out of stones right away, and then you're pretty much just playing an exceptionally weak fighter at that point. But okay, made it through the first floor without too much danger here. Take a quick look. We could learn Pass Wall, but it's a little early, and I kind of want the spell slots for now. Really late game, it's not a huge deal because you can always get those back, but until we get those amnesia scrolls sorted, we got to be a little cautious on what we're picking up here. Okay, and this wormy pal might give us a little more trouble than it did on our last character. Nice. Okay, not too bad actually. And now we're at level 3, so let's head to the stairs, head up real quick, because we can almost cast Stone Arrow. It's extremely expensive. The mana cost of each spell is equal to its level, so we're only going to be able to cast this twice, which doesn't seem super useful right now. So I'm not in a huge rush to memorize this, I don't think. And we'll instead hold off a little bit for now until next level, maybe. Yes, we'll see how the chips fall, because we may want this as soon as it's in a semi-castable range here. It's interesting. For now, though, we'll still stick with just pumping up that earth magic. We're trying to get at least our Sandblast and also that Stone Arrow when we get that online. We want them up to as good of a spell power level as we can. Get it nice and strong. And then I'm going to actually leave the cockroach here, and I'm going to try and stab past it over and over again. Unfortunately, occasionally you still hit the monster between you, but for the most part, I should be able to hit the snake. And I'm hoping Kill the snake. Come on. Because if we... Oh, geez, don't hit the cockroach. We killed the cockroach. Oh, geez, now I'm scared. Okay, now we just use our magic there because we need to kill that ant extremely quickly. I guess it's not too much of a worry because, again, as a gargoyle here, we are immune to poisons, which is really nice, but it's still... Worker ant is still a fairly strong enemy for this stage in the dungeon. Also, Sigmund, very scary. Very, very scary elite. Invisibility, real bad, and then just so much spell damage. Chase you down. Destroy you. Especially if he also gets Confuse off. So, I'm going to probably go with Shift X here. Going to Shift X and then mousing over to them and hitting the E key puts down an exclusion, which is nice. Now we at least won't enter sight range of that buddy, but I'm still concerned because if we fight at all near here, Sigmund will notice. So I'm going to head to another stairs and see where they come down. And there we go. We're probably safe to explore this area a little bit. And so we're going to do that. No, stop. Auto explore. Bad auto explore. Okay, like howler monkeys here, this is something that I feel like if Sigmund is in range, he was woken up by that. So let's stand here for a little bit, just waiting for that noise to propagate through the dungeon. Wait for anyone to come up. Exclusion function, I need to use and learn it more often. Definitely a pretty handy feature, especially I guess exclusions are a bit dependent on how much of a like hands-off player you want to be, because if you're someone who likes to pretty much exclusively use the keys O and tab and just make your way through the dungeon, then it's definitely really nice to have those exclusions down. But if you're someone who's already very cautious, definitely not quite as critical, though definitely still useful. But okay, Sigmund showing up aside, still going fairly smoothly here, especially since we managed to find a nice chunk of dungeon here that isn't quite as scary. Okay, definitely want to fight a worm. Yeah, actually, I did have the sphere by the time I saw the worm, because as long as you have a pole arm, you should never really be afraid of those giant worms. Anything that's slower than you, as long as you have a pole arm, you can kind of be a little cheeky with it. Okay, let's just kill you with a sandblast. I don't have to worry about it. And then, do you know what? This is actually enough of this floor cleared that I am going to loop around here, and we're just going to head down for now. There's no rush to get ourselves killed by Sigmund here. So let's skip for now, head down to the next floor, play it safe, and then we will head back up to finish him off when we're feeling just a little bit more sure of ourselves. Perfect. Level 5, let's see how these skills are coming along. We're up to 9 mana now, which is a little bit better. So what exactly are the red stairs? What's the difference to normal stairs? Yeah, so they also lead up and down to the same floors as the stone ones, but there is no return pathway. So they're hatches, and when you go down through one or up through one, you're stuck wherever you land, and they can also be anywhere on the other floors. So for the most part, you're not going to go down them unless it's a really bad emergency. If you're about to die, maybe it's worth it, but in general, you're more likely to get yourself killed going through those hatches. I guess, the other option where you might need to use them or want to use them is there's some very specific vault chambers that can spawn where the only way into them is through hatches like that, and then there's usually a hatch inside of them to get out as well. But no, it's scary stuff. So if I use the red stair down, then there'll be no stair at the other side for you to come back up. Very risky maneuver for the most part. There's some circumstances where it's definitely worth it. Anything's better than dying in the game. So, you know what, I'm actually probably going to pick up this purple hand axe while we're here. So that was a bit of a scary fight for us there. Orc priests in general, very scary, but especially as a gargoyle with your reduced max health, you're only like 4 smites away from fatal territory, so gotta be pretty careful. I was a little rushed with it, but I at least turned the corner to break sight, all those good handy practices to keep in mind, and luckily we made it through there. Oh, okay, so only is your very last emergency exit, pretty much, yeah. And even then, maybe not, like, because it's hard to tell in the game. You never know for sure when something, you know, is your only option. So it lays pretty low on my priority list of things that might save my life. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. None of them have... Oh, do you want... I'll get a free backstab in. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. But none of them have halberds, at least. Oh, wow. Okay, things got south real bad. Oh, it's just being so cocky. Saying none of them have halberds, so we're totally fine. And then one of them has nets, because of course. So I could try and break out of the net. Could just keep spell casting. I only have 9 casts of this. If I'm out of mana here and things will get dicey. Do you have potions to chug here? I think we're gonna go for it. Take out most of them as they close here. Do you know what? Yeah, we're doing it. Don't kill me. Okay. Ooh. Should not let ourselves get within 1 hit of death. This is not good play in any way. Relying on luck to not get you killed is not what you're going for when you play this game, but it worked out this time, at the very least. Haha, great. Right, it feels kind of good, but it's a guilty kind of good, because I know that I shouldn't feel good about stuff like that. I probably deserve the death, but I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. I guess you get enough deaths in this game that you do feel less deserved, or that you feel are less deserved, so maybe I'll take it when I can get it. Okay, I won't go with Okawaru on this, buddy. Not quite a religion that will give us too much of a tangible benefit, unfortunately. But we can just keep it moving, and there we are, finally through this floor. A little sketchy, but at least we're alive, so that's always good. Let's grab a drink here. I like the statistics page of the online version. Yeah, definitely one of the things I've heard, or one of the arguments I've heard the most in terms of pro online, is just to be able to keep track of all your stats, especially there are a lot of, if you want to be like a greater player or any of those kind of special banner titles, where that's where you're trying to win like once with every single species or once with every single background, that kind of stuff. Online is the way to go for sure, because you can look over all your statistics, which is pretty sweet. Okay, let's take a sip. Also been a little autopilot-y here for the last little bit, so let's take a step back, look at our skills. Earth Magic is coming up. How's that doing? I still want a bit more, because we want to get these two castable, especially I would like LRD up, because that's going to be huge for nuking some of the stronger monsters that we find over the next little bit here. Yeah, you like the stat page because you can see for yourself which combinations you've played and how often and things like that. Yeah, I'm very curious how often I've played different classes. Unfortunately, actually, I wonder when the online servers went up. They might have been up from the very start, now that I think about it. But I've been playing through a lot of different versions, so I'm very curious how my choices have evolved over time. Back in the day, it would have been a lot of mountain dwarves, but you don't even see those anymore. Not trying to become a top player, just for fun. Yeah, no, I agree. I really enjoy being able to take a look at stuff like that for my own benefit as well. I agree with that. Oh, geez. So that's the danger of the tab key. If you lean a little hard into it, you're going to get a couple presses and bad things might happen. Fortunately, we're never punished, so ain't no thing. That ogre was also pretty scary, but I was pretty sure that as long as we got a couple of good hits in, we could take them out. So once the first one hit, I was feeling pretty good about it. I don't like this though. Ooh, I like this even less. Let's take out the priest first. Then the wizard. Then the other wizard, then the hand. Okay. Perfect. No problems there whatsoever. Actually, from here, we should probably pick up a leather armor. Because... let's see here. So depending on whether we want to use stone arrow or not, we can decide to wear slightly heavier armor, because right now, as long as we can still cast Sandblast, we're not really missing out on too much by wearing heavier armor. It's a little bit different if we want to get these castable though, which I probably do. Stone arrow would have been nice to have against that ogre. Could you please repeat what your macro exactly does? So fast we set up. Oh, definitely. And in fact, yeah, I'll go through and I'll set up a couple now to go over it. So the idea of the macro in general is that you pick a key that when it's pressed will, in the system, act like you did a certain combination of keys or presses. So if we press Control D, it brings us up to this little option screen at the bottom, and then you want the macro options. I think you can also hit the tilde key to get straight here potentially, but I don't totally remember that. Then here, yeah, we want to pick a key. So for me, I like to use the 1 to 4 across the top of the keyboard. You know, keep numpad alone because that's important for movement and stuff. But those keys don't do anything in game, so they're nice. Same with the function keys, I think can be used. I think some people like those, but it depends on other system stuff there. If you're scared of using the function keys or you don't want to accidentally Alt F4 yourself at a bad time, maybe stay away from those. But so here, yeah, you just get to press the key you want to activate the macro. So I'll hit 2 here. And then for 2, says that there's currently no defined actions. So we will redefine to set what it does. And then I'm going to make my macro here do capital Z so that it will cast the spell. Even if there are no enemies around, I can at least be given the option. And then B, which will be the second spell in my spell list as well. And then hit enter, and that is all set up there. Yeah, another one that I used to do is, spacebar is an unknown command, so spacebar does nothing. That's one where I'll often do a macro, I'll make spacebar. Oh, it doesn't work anymore. Oh, they changed the way this is set up. I lied. Hold up, can I do this the old way at all? No, I cannot. You used to be able to do spacebar there, but actually this whole menu is fancier and updated from 0.25. It's a little bit different. Okay, why the second spell, not the first? So I have my 1 key is set up to my first spell, my 2 key is to my second, and then I will do my 3 and 4 for my third and fourth spells. And then I can, always reassign the spell numbers or letters. Because it's useful, if you hit the equals key, you can adjust items, and then you adjust spells, and you can change what letter corresponds to a spell. And then, so it's nice. I just always have those 4 slots. I know which keys they are, and I can put all my most used combos there. But the other macro I was going to set up, and one that I often do, is one that executes pressing the F key and the period key, because that will throw or cast your quiver thing at the closest target immediately. It'll also select them though, so that's one that I want to be a little careful using in a really dangerous situation, because you usually in that kind of spot want to be choosing who you're hitting. Perfect. Now we can start to just continue our way. Oops, let's not accidentally throw stuff at ourselves. This is a little scary with the bear here, but I think we can take them out, so we'll go for it. And yes, I think I did that once with weapons and scribe or something. Yeah, inscriptions are also super useful. I wish I actually knew more of those, because I know there are some really good ones, especially if you combine it with file editing, because you can have some permanent inscriptions. I know you can set it up so that hitting R and then 1 will read like that scroll, in no matter what key it's assigned to you. So for that one here, we'll even do this real quick. Let's try it. I think you inscribe and it's at R1. Is that what we do here? And we read and then we hit 1. Yeah, and it reads that scroll. There are lots of really cool inscriptions. You can also, yeah, have it like give you a warning anytime you try and wield it, and it will ask you if you're sure and that kind of stuff. Definitely another useful tool to have for sure. But nice, we got identified scroll there, which was pretty lucky, and we managed to find heal wounds again right off the bat, which is also exceptionally lucky. We will take our luck where we can get it here, as we try and keep this run surviving here in the early game. The scariest part for any caster, once we get through here, we should start to get to the point where we can begin to just nuke everyone. Let's definitely come at this priest because we do not want to fight them at range here. And then I'm just going to tab fest through the rest of those bad boys. Not too shabby altogether. Maybe these RC files can come with such macros and scribes. I think it might be the RC file, because I do know it is like a file editing thing. I never know if, because I haven't done any actual file editing for Dungeon Crawl here, I don't know if there's just the RC or if people also use like the init file or anything like that. I don't know if there is an init file. Actually, I haven't really looked through Dungeon Crawl to see. Oh, maybe I should do that sometime just to check it out. Not very good at programming, but I know the basics at the very least. Then one would not need to set it up again and again. Yeah, no, definitely would be handy. Actually, I should say that macros you don't have to set up repetitively. I believe they do save between games. For myself here, it's just because I updated to a new version of the game. So that one does save, fortunately. As far as I remember from the last one, I believe I set up, or from the last version that I had installed, I believe I just set all those up one time, all my favorite macros, and then just usable from then on. Which I guess, oh, we don't have a religion yet. What am I doing? Get down into that ecumenical temple here. Okay, now things get interesting. We have a bit more freedom with who we want to pick. There are a lot of options for casters, because you can go for pretty much any of the standards that I really normally like McLeb or Gozag, or we can go for one of the special casting ones that will give us access to a few more spells. Behemoth here will like replenish our magic as we spend it. Could be kind of interesting. I'm so used to playing Gozag is like the go-to if you want really deep extended runs, specifically in this place called Ziggurats, where it's endlessly increasing difficulties and levels filled with monsters. Gozag is the way to go if you're doing that. So I'm so used to just picking them for everything. But maybe we'll try and switch it up, play a bit more thematically here. Pick Behemoth, one of the caster gods. I believe specifically the Conjurations god. But Paul says, me neither, good at programming, but I see a lot of comments in the RC files that explain exactly what's going on. Oh, that's nice. They're really transparent about it. That's sweet that they do a good job. That definitely helps. It makes sense too with open source stuff. I feel like you have to be fairly transparent. Otherwise, people are going to get confused really quickly as everyone's making changes. But yeah, macros are definitely mostly useful for casters. But again, I do like to have that that throw macro set up, just because if I'm playing someone who has like a pile of stones in their back pocket, it's nice to have a key to just tap while you wait for the enemies to get close to you and deal some damage while you wait. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, we're going for just a nice short game here, so I'm happy to go with Behemoth, one of the classic casters here. And we'll see. I still explore the temple because I like to see every layout. It's always interesting what kind of vaults are made. Give some appreciation to the developers who put in the time making all the special areas in the game. But if we take a look at our religion tab here, let's see here. So you can memorize some of Behemoth's spells. I think we get a rotating list of spells that we can memorize without a spell book, which could be really useful for getting the specific nukes you want. Gain magical power from killing is huge. That's where we start getting mana back on kills, and that's where we can use our spells a bit more consistently on big fights. aids destructive spells. I think adds range and power. No, adds power and then extends range, which is very good. Cool. Let's start exploring. Okay. Another potion of heal wounds, eh? I mean, don't have a lot of money, but I'll probably take that any day of the week here. Probably should have taken the 2 healing wounds potions I had the option to take on my last character. Don't hit tab. What am I doing? Brain, stop me from making those bad decisions. Okay, we only have Sandblast still. Fortunately, I took a bad hit, which leaves us a lot less room to maneuver with here. Originally, I probably could have just started Sandblasting. I mean, it's still what we're going to do, I believe. 17 damage plus, oh, you could kill me in 1 hit, but it's unlikely. It's unlikely. You just gotta clench up and go for it there. I mean, you don't. You should probably run away. Play it safe. Survive another day. Don't play like me. But, oh boy. Okay, let's put on the leather armor. I probably should have done this earlier. I'm not using any other spells anyway. There's no reason not to try and give ourselves a little more defensive power. Plus, it really makes this scarf pop. Would you look at that little icon? I know it's tiny. It's unfortunately a small icon, especially depending on what kind of screen you're watching this on, but that purple, damn. Here we go. Perfect. Mattia, eh? Nope. Not even a little bit. At least not right now. It's always something we could come back to in the future, I guess. Which I do have to remember. At some point, we got to go kick Sigmund's ass, because there's no way we let him get through this alive. Killed off way too many prominent characters. Which is kind of funny, because I still say that, but I do feel like it's almost, for me, more of a meme than a real thing at this point. Because I used to consistently die to Sigmund. Like, that's the #1 killer for the first, like, 4 years of playing this game. But these days, I feel like I respect Sigmund so much and I'm so scared of him that I haven't actually died to Sigmund in a really long time. You have to get really unlucky and just, like, get dropped in next to him and confused. But, let's see, Paul says, last week I made a funny experiment using the Android app. Taps here and fetch the DCSS outputs, such, like killed monsters, you see snake, all the text, yeah, nice, out of the Android version and made it to be spoken by text-to-speech engine on the tablet. Oh, that's really cool. That's super funny. Especially, that's something that would be really interesting to put in as an option so that the game would be a bit more accessible to visually impaired. That'd be pretty cool. This was funny for a while. I guess, is it slow? Because you read a lot faster than speech happens. So I can imagine waiting for every single line. Or would they start overlapping and just get crazy echoes? Nice. Things have definitely smoothed out after a couple of close calls in the early game here. Oh. Speaking of close calls, another named unique. Grinder can be scary. Not quite as scary at this point. Usually the issue is this paralyzed though. And plus a wand. If Grinder has a really good wand and paralyzes you, then you're usually just dead in the early game. I should still be scared of you. I don't know why I'm telling myself I'm not. Because it's important to give these uniques the respect they deserve. Let's definitely at least start heading down a bit here. We're going to head to this escape hatch. We've at least already explored the whole floor above, so it's a safe one to pop through. And then we can think about stuff for a second. Yes, but one could set the text-to-speech speed to be ultra fast. Does that make it better or worse though when you do a turn? Especially, yeah, what happens on the turns where you like cast ignition in a room full of enemies and you get like 50 text things pop up and then you're just dealing with, even with probably exceptionally fast settings, you'd still be done with solid 5 minutes of just ineligible or inaudible mumbling. It'd be pretty good. Maybe could add a filter so that it only speak emergency text or monsters. See, yeah, that's definitely if you wanted to set it up to be like used more often or like as a mod for the community, that'd be the way to go for sure. For fun, I like just having to read everything. I think that's great. Then we're still taking a while while you're already in the next dungeon. Yeah. Let's think. Yeah, if you don't mind. Oh, why did I start auto exploring? Grinder's still coming after me. Oh, I kind of forgot what I was doing there for a second. Well, seems like we don't have too much of an issue losing Grinder at least. What is the range on Paralyze? Must be able to hit me and just hasn't yet. Huh. Okay, let's check my minimap here. If we want an exit, we want to go this way. Full Grinder. And then, could try and park Grinder on the upper floor. I guess not really, because you don't blink, do you? I'm getting you confused with all the other imps. Oh, you do blink. We could potentially park you. Don't paralyze me. Don't paralyze me. Just walk up to me, please. I probably should have sandblasted you just to see. I still want to... I might be able... I'm getting cocky, but I think we can make it through the fight. Okay, yeah. I hate running away when it's someone that we could have beat, because that experience is nice to get early. Killing those uniques. Yeah, Earth Magic up to level 10 is pretty huge. In fact, let's learn Stone Arrow, so the next time we find someone tough like that, we have something a little more powerful to punch into them there. I like to text-to-speech and play around with it a lot. I also made Alexa speak Twitch chat text, good for smaller streamers. Yeah. No, I definitely get that. I think for me personally, I would avoid it just because, oh no, I like reading things personally myself. I like reading them out loud. Maybe I'm old fashioned like that. Plus there's always the risk that someone abuses the power that you've given them to say anything out loud. But also made text-to-speech for YouTube chats and this and that. That's really cool. That's really cool. No, it's a really useful skill to practice as well, because you never know. Well, I guess depending on the field you're in, but that's kind of stuff and that kind of thinking is really useful in a lot of fields these days. Everything involves computers. Anywho, what am I doing? Let's actually use our good spells, shall we? Yes, you can make it speak the phone and through Alexa. Yeah, cool. No, there are so many good uses for AI. So many cool things we can have them do for us these days. What a world we live in. Okay, well, I'm kind of just losing sight in this run. It's going, yeah, fairly smoothly besides a couple of scary bits. I was way more scared of Grinder than I should have been. But now that I finally kind of take a step back and take a look at what we've achieved, I'm liking what we're seeing here. Let's add that to C, and now that we have a third spell, it's time to set up our third macro here as well. Oops, let's not do that, my bad. Let's try that again. Macro 3, redefine. There we go. Forgot to hit the R for redefine there, my bad. That one's going to be a ZC for us, and then we're going to do another macro onto 4 this time, and that one's going to be one of those... I did it again. This time we're going to go on to macro 4, redefine. Got it. And this time ZD. Hey, there we go. I got all those. Or make your own free text-to-speech for AI Dungeon, since their official text-to-speech one needs to pay. See, yeah, exactly there. You're already getting advantages out of your hobbies there, the thing you do for fun. That's sweet. AI Dungeon is something that I've really wanted to check out and probably should. Because I am a pretty huge fan of AI in general, and it's like, I really like seeing ones that are so readily available to the public to test around with and have some fun, see what kind of limitations there are. I think their better AIs are definitely the paid ones, right? Like they're more complex in what they can analyze out of your words as well. But check it out, it's hilarious. I laughed at tears. Nice. Okay, I definitely will have to add that to the list. Is it something that you think that I should play on stream, or is it something that you enjoy being able to take your own time with and kind of do your own pace? It's definitely, we'll pump into intelligence for level 9 there, because we still want to keep just getting that as high as we can so that we can cast the higher level spells a little more quickly than we otherwise would be able to. Let's use our new stone arrow. And actually, I'm going to take a step back here, and we're going to use LRD. 3% risk of failure, which doesn't seem very bad, but if it does fail, it puts us in a really bad spot because catastrophic failures are no good for spells. But with this, we can blow up this wall, which will hit everything around it as well, which is pretty sweet. And there we go. Got rid of most of those. We could also cast it straight on the Ice Beast, because the Ice Beast is made of crystalline structure, which is a little touch that I very much appreciate it in the game. I like little mechanics like that work with each other. Let's see what else here. Another +2 dagger venom. Jeez. I've seen a few people play on Twitch. Maybe could let the chat decide what to type into the AI or something like that. Not sure if it can be entertaining. So yeah, I was curious about that. I mean, I don't mind a text-heavy game, because I don't mind trying to stretch the old vocal cords a bit and do some fun voices and that kind of stuff. But I could definitely see it being a little bit tricky to balance, trying to keep it fun and entertaining and interactive. I do like that idea of interaction, though. Maybe one day when I can rely on that kind of stuff a bit more consistently. That sounds like a lot of fun. Maybe turn the bad words filter on, because sometimes the AI responds really weird, wild and weird sentences. Oh, that's funny. AI gets a little dirty sometimes. It's okay, I get it. We'll need a little bit of raunch in our lives sometimes. AI too. But that is a good note to have. Thanks for the tip on that one. Yes, dirty and also brutal sometimes. Oh, Joe. Oh, gee. Definitely might be a good idea to worry about that then. Yeah, don't want to upset anyone with the content we show here. We're trying to have fun, not should give people a bad time. Alrighty, so we're down to dungeon 6, starting to be where we can find Lair, I think. Maybe it starts on 7, but I thought it was 6 is the earliest possibility. Maybe we'll never know. But still not going too shabby here. We do finally have our all of our selections here fully castable, which is really nice. Especially, yeah, LRD is going to be really big for taking out some of the bigger threats. I know that there have been many a run, or there has been many a run, where LRD was my go-to Hydra killer, for example. So we're happy to see that one come up to castable. Oof. +4 chainmail fire resistance on your Devessa. Damn. Damn, girl. Well, I do kind of like just blowing up the wall there. Killing Doan last, though, is kind of scary sometimes. Oops. Didn't realize that accidentally alt-tabbed out of this somehow while we waited. No, let's run back. Okay. Stone arrow hits that far. Impulse says, but usually you'll laugh more than be shocked from the AI, and also you can play the adventures that they offer in a serious way. Cool. I think then the AI will stay on track and not become too crazy. Then I think for me it's going to be a little more of the freeform stuff, because I don't want to make the AI say horrible things, but I do want it to say some pretty wacky things. Wacky and crazy, that's up my alley. Less so the brutal side of it, but A wacky. That stuff sounds like fun to me. Also, I should have done this. Okay, we'll kill Dowan though, and then we have a Berserking Devesa on us. So, what do we want to do with this? Haven't had to think about the game for a while. It's throwing me off now that we're all of a sudden in a potentially dangerous situation. I don't know how much I have to worry about Devesa here. 36 health is at least pretty low. We can probably take her out. A couple good stone arrows here. Let's go for one. Nope, that did not do as much damage as I was hoping. Yeah, it did hit with it too. That's rough stuff. So the main thing here is we just need to survive through her berserk. As soon as the berserking is over, she'll go back to, or she'll become slowed as an effect of that, or as an after effect. So as long as we can survive till then, we can run away if we want. We can run away just a little bit to pepper some shots in from afar, all that good stuff. Just have to survive. Just have to get that far. But yeah, yes, if you are a knight in an AI dungeon and then tell the AI that you start to twerk, for example, of course the AI will reply something wacky funny then. Makes sense, yeah. Not a lot of really cohesive storyline structure that it can come up with on the fly there as to why this might be totally applicable to the scenario. That makes sense. Okay, Devesa. You're a tough one. I'm going to actually take her upstairs with me. Oh, I don't like where we're standing. I wanted her to be on the other side so we could start running. And Berserking makes her fast, but it would at least save us from a few hits while we're running. I'm a dangerous man. We're going to do some sandblasts here. It didn't go great. Should have... Man, I should read ID all these scrolls. What am I doing with my life? We just died because of this on the last run. Okay, we still are doing okay for health, so I'm going to try and circle around her. Circle around her. There we go. Now she's getting a few less attacks, and we're still doing okay. And so, we could pop into this hole if we wanted to. No, I think we're almost through her rage. Yeah, there we go. Now she's slowed. Now we have all the time in the world. Let's just launch some rocks at her. Launch another rock at her. We'll tab a bit now. Wow, she's not dying. There we go. No problem whatsoever. Not even a little bit scared or worried the whole time. But we made it through. So, in honor of that, let's remember this time to do some due diligence. Let's put on a ring. Again, resist corrosion is our first ring. Do I accidentally have a seed turned on? No, everything else has been different. Weird. I wonder what the odds of that are. Normally, I have a hard time finding resist corrosion in an entire game, much less get them first 2 runs in a row. But do that. I experience that often on the first floors. If I have, for example, 3 or 4 unidentified scrolls, they're quite often scrolls of identification. No, definitely, yeah. Usually a safe bet to go for the early 4 stacks like these. I'm surprised I have 4 of them here, because it's gonna be ID. The other ones I'm guessing are gonna be remove curse, teleport, maybe fog again. It's like fog, terror, and a few others all kind of fall in that like middle range. Yeah, 3 or 4. No, I got what you meant, Paul. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I have 4 of this one, 4 of this one. First, let's start with the identify scrolls. Let's just go through a few of these and actually identify potions. Again, it's nice to identify potions so we don't have to waste a valuable effect. Sucks on that one. Didn't need to know the degeneration potion. But let's read some scrolls here. So we found teleport. We found, oh, amnesia. Oh, wow. I don't often get a stack of amnesia scrolls right off the bat. So this is what I mentioned earlier in the run, where we're able to forget spells and regain the spell levels that we have wasted on them. Well, I guess wasted is kind of relative. Depends on the spell we're getting rid of on that side of things. But for now, we will not. Yes, we will abort that and waste the scroll game. Thanks for asking me, though. Very considerate. Then this has got to be remove curse, so maybe we will actually stop there for now and not worry about reading any more scrolls. I do want to know if we have blinking. You know what? I'm gonna go for this too. Yeah. We identified the scroll's random uselessness. I almost said usefulness, but that is not accurate. And there we go. The teleport popped off. Oh, hey, boop. Doggo's asking to leave the room, so let's. Jeez, don't hold my headphone cord. My bad. Yeah, are you sure about your decisions? Actually, she might be back right away, so I'm gonna leave that cracked. Needed a drink of water. Okay. But let's head to the stairs here. Actually, yeah, what time is it? Wow, it's already 9 here. Time flies when we're crawling through dungeons here. Let's check on our skills too. Actually, this is where I'm making huge mistakes here. I've been letting this sit for a little bit too long. Earth magic, it's nice to have it up to this level for sure. Just for the power level of these spells, I'm sure the power's getting up there. Yeah, still a long way to go on LRD, but that's because it has a high ceiling range, I'm pretty sure. But we don't really need just earth magic anymore for the actual casting chances, so maybe let's start, yeah, throwing something else into the background here. What will we want? We can train fighting for some more health, or we can go for armor or dodging for defensive route. Armor is nice also because it allows us to wear heavier armor and still cast spells. So I probably actually will train up just a bit of armor nice and early here. Are the names of not identified scrolls randomized, or are they always the same? I mean, if yes, are there lists somewhere that someone could cheat? No, unfortunately, I do believe they're fully randomized. And in fact, I don't know, they definitely are, because there's a trend on the Dungeon Crawl subreddit. Occasionally, people get really funny combinations of random characters. You get good phrases and stuff, so... Yeah, no easy way out there. You gotta read ID, unfortunately. But... Okay, even just with armor, actually, you know what, I lied. We're doing fighting instead, trying to get a bit more health going our way here. Let's run away from these bad boys. See, if you take one more step, it's probably gonna be here, right? So then I can LRD that. Let's try it. Yes. Okay, and then boom. Beautiful. That does a nice chunk of damage to enemies. Yeah, it's weird. I'm totally not even recognizing how beautiful it is not to have food in this game anymore, because there was a time where I would almost never cast LRD out of fear that I'd starve my character to death, especially since I play Ozag worshippers so often who can't butcher corpses. But this is beautiful. I can just launch all that strong stuff out at every occasion. Only have to worry about mana. Still have to worry about mana. Let's not get ourselves into dangerous situations for no reason whatsoever, but... Take a drink. Oops. See if I can make it do it again. No, okay, that's good. Coaster is sticking to the bottom of my glass. Imagine they would add a Bomberman like game version into DCSS. No, it would be pretty fun. At least funny, I guess. Oh gosh, Joseph. Son of a gun. Okay, we're gonna just keep running like the cowards we are, because I don't want to deal with Joseph launching slings at me. But the nice thing here is that we are probably going to take our steps to here. My issue is that I want to be able to see Joseph here, but I want Joseph in range of LRD. Oh my gosh, ouch. Man, why do you hurt so much, Joseph? You are just using a hunting sling, hey? You know what? Let's not get cocky. I was going to try an LRD and blast him out of the sky. Let's take it safe. Go upstairs, heal up. Maybe go find a different stairs. Make a new set of friends. You know, play it safe. Stay alive. Fight another day. I've seen some different game versions on the online version, sort of speedrun and Trog defense and whatnot, but only tried it once so far. Yeah, the challenge runs, or I forget, dungeon sprints, I think a lot of them are called. Super fun. There are a couple of them that I really like. The line sprint, the one that's just a bunch of the shift version of backslash on your keyboard, the line key. That one's really fun, for me at least. I really enjoy that. Yeah, sprints, I think it's named. Yeah, I think so. No, the meat one, I forget what it's called. That one is crazy though, where you just get swarmed by enemies and your weapon ends up as like plus 300 thing of wackiness. Man, I did not think this through. I shouldn't have let my character explore near Joseph again. Okay, so what's the proper way to go about this? He has so much health. Proper way to go about this is read a teleport scroll and run. Okay. I'll check them out again tomorrow. I'm curious. Yeah, no, definitely worth at least checking out. Like most of them, the whole point is that they're a bit of a faster experience. I think people in general enjoy the Ziggurat one is actually pretty good, the Ziggurat Sprint. And then the Sonia's Keep, I think, is fairly fun progressive wise, or it feels at least kind of similar. Sonia's Keep almost feels similar to the real game in pacing in some ways. Still a little bit weird with the sprinty aspects. You occasionally run into monsters that are pretty wacky. Okay, so this time I did actually find Joseph on purpose. We're in a better spot though, I'm hoping. Oh wait, no we're not. I just put myself into a place with no upstairs. Blast me out of the water, Joseph. It's the only way we're getting through this. There we go.